All right, Andrew Schulz.
How you doing, bro?
Welcome back.
It's so fun to start talking to you again after we've already been talking for like an hour. Like this is a continuation of our conversation 5 minutes ago, but we had to do that. Hey, Vlad.
We got to pretend like it's brand new.
Exactly. Good to see you again.
Next time I'll just ignore you for the first half hour.
Hey, there it is.
There
our normal relationship.
Last time we talked.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was last time or the time before or sometime. Mm-hmm. You said you were going to be a culture vulture for Halloween.
Yeah. I didn't get the costume. I couldn't get a vulture mask.
Right.
So I ended up doing, what did we do? We did, me and my boy and a friend of my girl, we were Pulp Fiction.
Oh.
Yeah, so I was Travolta. He was...
she had the black suit with the skinny
tie? She had the little stab thing in her titty from the adrenaline shot.
Oh, right.
Blood and all that. And we had blood all over the shirts and blood. It was post shooting the guy in the back of the head, shooting the guy in the head in the back of the car.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
So he was Samuel L. Jackson and I was Travolta.
Okay.
Yeah. Post Royale with cheese combo.
So speaking of culture vultures.
Yes, here we go with this.
You and I have both been hit with this tag.
Yeah.
In fact... my man...
We shouldn't even talk about it. It would just breathe more air into it.
Oh, that's what we're going to do. We're going to breathe it up.
All right.
In fact,
own it. You got to own it.
You got to own it. You know, in fact...
That's what I'm going to say. Every time we talk about the culture vulture, I'm just going to hit you with a What's up?
Is that the sound of vultures, man?
Man, I'm from New York. I got pigeons, dog. I don't know the fuck a vulture is even. I know bald eagles and pigeons. I don't know shit about animals, Vlad. Come on.
So my man Lord Jamar, he went on I think the Premium Pete podcast.
Yes.
And they
Shout out
asked,
to Premium Pete.
Yep.
Love Premium Pete. That's my guy.
You know, he asked if Vlad is a culture vulture, and Jamar said yes.
Okay.
So he came back on Vlad TV to talk about that.
Yeah.
He asked me if you're a culture vulture, and I'm like, when you think about the term culture vulture, which I feel like the technical term is one who is from outside usually. And I'm going to say usually because I believe you can be within a culture and still be a culture vulture. But usually a culture vulture is termed as one who is outside of a culture, who is profiting from that culture, where they couldn't do it within their own culture.
Okay.
So that's... And if you look at that technical terminology, is that what you do?
I profit from hip hop.
Yes. And hip hop is a black man's culture originally.
Correct. Black and Hispanic. Neither of which
Hispanic to me is black. So I don't even go with that separation. That's a given. When I say black, I mean Puerto Rican, all of that. They was there
Dominican,
in the beginning.
Everything.
So, by that criteria, what would you call yourself?
What if you didn't make money on it?
I guess you wouldn't be a culture vulture. But if you benefited from it.
Technically, I'm trying to think, because vultures, they don't really get the prime meat.
They get the
You're more of like a culture lion.
Culture lion.
Yeah, like a vulture would be like some blog that like gets the scraps of an interview with Vlad TV or the scraps of an interview on a Brilliant Idiots, the scraps, right? Like you getting the meat while it's hot and the blood is still flowing, like the gazelle is breathing while you're eating its throat, you know? So I don't know if I could call you a culture vulture. You're a culture lioness.
Culture lion? Lioness. Oh, because the lioness go out and hunt.
Yeah, that's
Bring
original,
it back to the male lion,
that's original pimping out there, bro.
Right.
All you do is, drop dick off and eat gazelle first.
Well, you also got to fight off the hyenas and stuff like that.
Yeah, but female lions can fight off the hyenas.
No, usually the male lions go and do that.
They bring it. They really got to. If it's real, if the hyenas aren't respecting, they'll go and roar.
Oh yeah.
But
I've seen some National Geographic where I've seen some backs broken by male lions.
oh yeah, they don't play around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's amazing they could keep up their muscle strength without exercise. Like, I lose my shit in 2 weeks. Like, if I don't hit the gym and do my little curls.
You're also not a lion.
Says who? Are you calling me a culture vulture, Vlad? Not a culture lion? I'm trying to step the game up, man.
Culture
I want to be
lions.
a culture saber-toothed tiger. That's what I'm trying to be.
Those are extinct.
Well, maybe that's what you are since you're from Russia. You're a culture saber-toothed tiger.
Culture saber-tooth.
Exactly. And I'm an American animal. Well, like I'm a culture buffalo. No, buffaloes don't eat other animals.
They don't.
I really don't know a lot about animals, dog. I don't know if this is the right metaphor for us to do.
Yeah, I mean, what animals in America eat other animals?
Humans.
Yeah, culture bobcat.
I'm a culture bobcat. I'm a culture conquistador. Yo, that's
culture
really what
conquistador.
I'm like Columbus with it. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so anyways,
Yeah.
we were talking about the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I said, well, is Steve Rifkin, who started Loud Records? And
I don't know these people. I don't know anything about music.
you heard of Loud Records?
Nah, man. I don't know anything about these
Have you
people,
heard
man.
of a little-known group called Wu-Tang Clan?
I think I heard of them one time.
Right,
They're from
there's also-
Staten Island.
I think so, right.
And they've also done a little bit of culture vulturing when it comes to Asian culture.
Asian culture, a little bit.
Wu-Tang, Shaolin.
Right, exactly. Raekwon.
Interesting
these
how
Chinese-
this vulturing works.
Right.
Very interesting.
There's also this underground Latino rapper named Big Pun that, was also on Loud Records. Never heard of him?
this
Never.
Big Punisher. Dead in the middle.
I didn't say Big Punisher, I said Big Pun.
Little did
Right.
we know we riddled some middleman that didn't do
Diddly.
diddly. Come
Right.
on, man. I know Pun. I grew up
Right.
in Manhattan.
Anyway, so this is the label behind them, Mobb Deep,
Yes, sure.
3-6 Mafia, the list goes on.
Is he a
and on.
culture vulture? Yeah.
And he said yes. He said, well, if Steve Rifkin's a culture vulture, then, and
I guess my understanding is what's wrong if that is a term. The problem with the term is we use it derogatorily, right? It's used to punish one, like this if it's a bad thing to be a capitalist. This is America, right? Like in America, everybody here is a culture vulture, right? Like they started Italian food. And then some Polish dudes were like, yo, people don't fuck with kielbasa, but they fuck with pasta. Why don't we open up the Olive Garden or whatever? I don't know if Polish people own Olive Garden. My point is, whatever works, you start fucking with it. Like the guys who own Chipotle, I don't think they're from Guadalajara. You know what I'm saying? There might be some guys that own Chipotle. Didn't McDonald's originally own Chipotle?
Well, I mean, at this point, Chipotle is a public company, so the shareholders own Chipotle.
Exactly, but there was a time where the shareholders owned Chipotle.
McDonald's was an early investor in Chipotle.
They're an early investor. They sold off. But at the time, the CEO of McDonald's was a black dude. I forget the guy's name.
Yeah.
And so technically, is he vulturing off of Mexican culture? Yeah. Whoever invented these cameras that we're using right now, I don't think they're Russian. So technically, you're vulturing off of that, right? Like whoever invented the light bulb, Thomas Edison. So everybody who uses light bulbs and makes money off of light bulbs, like if you're a rapper, you're in the studio and you like light, you like a lit studio when you're writing your rhyme, you are making money off of Thomas Edison. That's what I'm saying. We could keep going further and further back. Like, am I allowed to eat a falafel? Do I gotta thank the great people of Israel and Lebanon and like the Middle East for creating hummus before I eat said hummus or sell a falafel? Who I gotta thank for water?
I guess God.
I mean, really, we're vulturing off of Jesus when you think about it. Or Allah, whoever your guy is, we're vulturing off of God, right? Because God's really the person who invented all this, and we're making money off of God. How disgusting is that? Vlad, how disgusting is that? We are God vultures.
God vultures.
He gave us these things, and we are profiting off of it. Ugh, we need to go back and read some Old Testament, dog.
Yeah.
Really sad. So I guess my point is, yes, there are people that are vulturing, but this is a product of the capitalistic society that we live in, right? And in America, if you believe in capitalism, right, you find what Russell Simmons would call a white space in the market, right? A part of the market that's being underutilized, and you go out there and you exploit that. And exploit we look at as a bad word, but people who found something, they profit off of it and use it, and it's not in malicious intent. It's just part of the capitalistic spirit that has made America the greatest nation in the world.
Right.
It's really what it comes down to. So if you want to call it culture vulture and say it as if it's a bad thing, that's totally fine. I view it, me personally, I view it as somebody who's taken advantage of the American spirit. When I see, when I see, I'm trying to think of different people. When I see Wu-Tang making money off of Asian culture, I'm not like, oh my God, how dare you? I'm like, all right, good for you. You made like karate and like martial arts and Asian culture probably cool to a lot of black dudes that didn't fuck with it. To a lot of white dudes that didn't fuck with it. You made it dope and made us want to watch these movies, made us want to be interested in these things. And you know who ends up making more money also? Asians. Because now their shit is popping to a whole new demographic. So you could call them culture vultures, but they're also the opposite of vultures. What is somebody who gives? They're like culture farmers or some shit. They're planting seeds so these guys can eat.
Culture parents.
That's what I'm saying. Like Kanye, you could say he's a culture vulture for like stealing, like I've said this even here before, like the grunge culture, like all his outfits look like Nirvana and like all these like Northwestern like grunge culture that existed in, what was it, the 90s when we were growing up? 90s, early 2000s?
Right.
Alternative rock kind of look. You could say he's a culture vulture for doing that, but at the end of the day, you know who's making a lot of money? Motherfuckers that own thrift stores. You know what I'm saying? So Kanye's making his money, but he's also making other people money.
Well, it doesn't bother me. I think in the very beginning, when I was first hearing the term, it was like, yo, what the fuck? But then it's like, listen, it's all good. At the end of the day, you cannot be successful in anything that you do and not have a lot of people feel that you should quit and stop and kill yourself and your careers. You know, if I had $1 for every time someone said, no one should interview with Vlad. Vlad is going to be over this year, you know, along with death threats and everything else like that. I could just live off that money. But, you know, unfortunately, I have to keep
So if you really want to stop Vlad, just give him $1. You know what I mean? Like everybody who doesn't want Vlad, just give him $1.
Give him $1 and I'll stop. If it's enough dollars, though. You know,
you should start a GoFundMe.
A GoFundMe?
You should start a Vlad TV GoFundMe for stopping you. And what's your number? What do you want to hit? What would make you stop?
100 million.
50, you would stop. Someone signed a check for 50.
50 million, I'll stop.
I bet 25 you stop.
25, I won't stop.
25, you could do something different. It's not like you have to stop working in general. You just can't do Vlad TV. You wouldn't do that? You wouldn't stop
well, I
25?
wouldn't know. You know, you got to understand that when it comes to business,
it's
not easy to come up with a viable business.
Sure,
out of 100 out of 100 businesses that people try, maybe one will end up actually being viable. So if I stop Vlad TV, to be able to say I'm going to start a brand new business and it's going to be successful and profitable is not easy.
What you need to do is start a Vlad TV for Asian culture, so when the Chinese take over, you got that shit locked.
It's already there.
You already got the Chinese Vlad TV?
Yeah. Well, what would you call? What would be a Chinese name? Like
for Vlad TV?
Lee TV, maybe.
Lee TV?
Lee TV.
We could do better. We gotta think. We'll think about it. I'll get back to you. I'll give you the good one, but that's gonna be hot.
Maybe we could start like Tiger Woods TV, which is sort of a combination of Black and Asian culture that sort of transition slowly into it.
You gotta go all in.
Blasian TV.
Blasian TV. Now you gotta go all in, Vlad. You gotta cut it. 25 mil. So that's at your price. So if anybody really wants you to stop what you're doing,
50 mil, not 25.
I think, look, I'm gonna put out there in the world this 25 because I think that you would do it for 25. But 50 is good to say 50 and settle at a good price. All I'm saying is if people really want you to stop, put your money where your mouth is, man.
Right. Just pay Vlad to stop.
Hey.
And he'll stop.
Capitalism is a beautiful thing.
That's right.
You know what I mean? We find out how much, it's really worth. I was talking to a stripper the other day and she was like, this guy asked me to spit in his mouth and she was like $20. And I was like, wow, you really know how much certain things would cost you that most people don't know.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like this girl knows exactly how much it costs for her to insert a Grey Goose bottle in a guy's asshole.
Really?
She said it was $1,000, right? But like I wouldn't know how much it would cost me to put a Grey Goose bottle in a guy's asshole. I just wouldn't know, like, because I've never thought about that. How much for you?
Don't think there'd be a price for that.
Hold on, you would stop doing Vlad for 50 million, but if a guy was like, put this Grey Goose bottle in my asshole, you'd be like, I can't.
Yeah, not everything has a price.
100 grand, I'll boot that thing in there. I will punt that shit. We'll just put the tip of it in and I will punt that thing.
I'll tell you, there's a joke.
You wouldn't do that for fucking 100 grand?
Put a bottle in a guy's asshole for 100 grand.
Just the neck of it, not the base. What are you, a savage? You're trying to put the base of it in? No, you murder somebody like that. But just the neck? Bow, done.
What if it breaks off, and then next thing you know, the guy bleeds to death and he dies?
You made me sign a fucking release form. You don't think you're gonna make the Grey Goose and the ass bottle guy sign a release form? Come on,
That's
bro.
his name, the Grey Goose.
Grey Goose in the ass, man. Come on. Then you're gonna have the Culture Vultures like, why did you use Grey Goose? This is a French vodka. Okay, you did not ask us permission to use a French vodka.
Should have used the Russian vodka.
You gotta use the Russian.
Some
Stolishnoya. There we go. There you go. That's where you draw the line. I'll only do it with Stoli.
The NBA Finals
Yes.
are over.
Yes.
I believe before the NBA Finals were over, while they were still going, or maybe before they started, I don't know, because I didn't look at the date of this.
It's all good.
But you had a post that said that the Warriors are the greatest losers in NBA Finals history.
They are. It's a fact.
When they lost after
They were up 3-1.
3-1.
Yeah. It's the greatest loss.
So that was the greatest loss in NBA Finals history.
Because it's never been done before. Now they hold the record for being up the most games and then ending up losing the finals. So they're the greatest losers in history.
Okay.
Yeah.
They were up 3-1 again, and they didn't choke this time.
They're up 3-0.
Well, they were up 3-0, but then they were up 3-1
Right,
because
but-
the Cavs won a game.
Correct, but they were up 3-0.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, to be honest, I think if the Cavs won game 3, which they should have won, they lost game 3. I think if they won game 3, they win that series. And I'll tell you why. Basketball's all a game of adjustments. We can get into it real quick. But they won game 4. Cavs won game 4. And they won 46 minutes of game 3. Now, I know people are going to be like, but they didn't win a game. That's not the point. What I'm saying is for 2 games, for 94 minutes or whatever that is, they outplayed the Warriors. So they found something to outplay them. And that's what happened when they were down 3-1, right? They lost 2, won 1, lost another one, down 3-1. What are we going to do? Mm-hmm. But they found a way to outplay and they found a way to make the adjustments. It's hard to adjust when you're down 3-0 because the other team will adjust to your adjustments. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
they just didn't do it. And they didn't have the firepower to do it, man. But God bless LeBron, dude. He's just a
Right.
beast.
I mean, everyone's always saying that they needed KD to win, even though they didn't need KD.
Who?
Well, the Warriors, yeah.
They did need KD to win.
Right. But the first finals, they won without KD.
Yeah, but I mean, Love was injured and so was Kyrie. Like, that's not, you didn't really play against the Cavs. And then LeBron by himself still got 2 games off you. So it's not you're not playing a real team. And everybody can make the excuse, well, Draymond got injured. Draymond got suspended. Game 7, he was there, dog. Both teams firing on all cylinders. Game 7, who won? And I'll still give a Game 7 to LeBron any single day over KD and the Warriors. And I think it's just like, look, here's the tough thing when it comes to the NBA Finals, right? Where it comes to just Kevin Durant and why I don't criticize Kevin Durant for going to the Warriors. And put it this way. No media person should criticize Kevin Durant for going to the Warriors. Because at the end of the day, you value these players based on their rings. Charles Barkley can't say a fucking sentence on inside the NBA without Shaq going, well, how many rings you got?
Right.
How many rings? Like every opinion he disagrees with Shaq, Shaq's one comeback is, well, how many rings you got, Chuck? You don't got no rings, Chuck. Motherfucker can have an opinion.
That's your Shaq impression right
I'm not doing the cockeye, but yeah, it's mostly that's it. So I understand why Durant went there. So you can't criticize a guy for not having rings and then also criticize him when he puts himself in position to get a ring.
I mean, look at Iverson, though.
What about him?
No rings.
Exactly. Iverson's beloved.
Right. I feel like for some reason, Iverson and Barkley are looked at differently, even though they both have no rings.
They're like a step above the other players that do have rings, you're saying?
I kind of feel like people look at Iverson as a greater player than Barkley, even though neither one has rings.
Yeah, because Iverson we all want to be. You know what I'm saying? Like Barkley had a personality we all want. We love Barkley's personality, but like his game wasn't what we all want to have. Maybe earlier in his career when he was more explosive. But Iverson is literally the person that all of us want to be and we relate to. Most people aren't 6'6". Most people aren't 6'8", 7 foot. Most people are 5'11", you know?
How tall is Iverson?
Iverson said he was 6 foot. He's 5'11", maybe.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So
5'10".
he's short for a basketball player. Very
short
short.
for a guy. I don't even consider men if you're under 6 feet. You know what I mean? Like if you're under 6 feet, you're a boy.
Okay.
Even if you're a grown up, no offense, I know my man right here isn't 6 feet. You know what I mean? He probably beat me up, but whatever. The point is, under 6 feet, it's different. It's like, come on now, that's you know what I mean? Like you're a child. You know what I mean? Like I'll help you with your luggage on the plane. You know what I mean? If I see a guy 5'6" trying to put his luggage on the fucking overhead bin, you know what I mean? I'll be like, let me help you with that, dog. You know, I would never do that to a guy 6 foot. That's a grown up. That's an adult. You know what I mean? Like so Iverson just has so much heart. And there's some people, like Isaiah Thomas got so much heart. Some of these guys that are smaller, they just got so much heart, and we relate to them because we kind of see an underdog in ourselves. Like Iverson made me want to play the game different. Iverson made me attack the basket. You know what I'm saying? Like when I see the Golden State Warriors play, and I even see Kevin Durant's game, it's impressive that a 7-footer can just pull up and splash threes and shoot fades and do all these things. I don't want that to be my game. I never want to play like Kevin Durant. I want to play like Iverson. I want to play like Kyrie. I want to play like LeBron. Because I grew up playing in New York City. We didn't shoot dainty fucking high-arcing layups. We didn't shoot these like long, far-out threes and act like that was some tough shit. We tried to bang it on you and one and not make the call. Like that was the culture of basketball here.
Well, Kevin Durant said that Kyrie is a better player than Iverson.
Here's the thing. I think Kyrie and Iverson is the best comparison.
How tall is Kyrie?
He's maybe 6'2" or
Yes,
something like
he's
that.
tall.
He's built better. Kyrie is. I think that's the best comparison for Kyrie. Is he a better player than Iverson? Not yet. And I'll say that because Iverson competed more defensively than Kyrie does. Kyrie can lock up when he wants to, but he doesn't always want to. And Iverson was a defensive force at times. You know, like steals out the ass, always playing in the lanes, and just a brutal, brutal competitor. I think Kyrie could get there eventually. If there's one person's game in the NBA I want in terms of isolation play, it's Kyrie. I think he's unbelievable. I also think Kevin Durant winning a championship with the Warriors, it's like losing your virginity to a hooker. It's not like
an accomplishment?
Yeah, it's like you can't brag about it. You know what I mean? Like LeBron, even LeBron winning with Bosh and Wade, it's great that you won it, but it's not as special as winning down 3-1 at Cleveland. That's special. So, and I think even KD knows at some point in his career he's going to have to win one for himself.
I mean, isn't the point of playing a professional sport to win?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of like you're criticizing Kevin Durant for going to a super team. I guess that's what they're calling
Going
it, right?
to a 73-win team.
Yeah. Going to a super team and then getting a ring with a super team because in his old team he probably wouldn't have gotten that ring.
Sure, but it's more than that because you're going to the team that beat you.
I mean, but technically every team has beaten you in your conference, right?
Yeah, but that's the team that's knocking you out. That's the team that just took you out when you were up 3-1. That's the team you couldn't get past.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, think about it like, let me think of what are some countries that have just been at war forever?
North Korea
and South Korea, right? Or let's make it more personal for you. Like Ukraine and Russia.
Okay.
Right? What if one day Ukraine was like, all right, we're Russia.
You mean like they were before?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like, what if they did that? What if they were like, stopped fighting for their own identity and were like,
I mean,
listen,
it might happen.
Well, it's happening in Crimea.
Yeah. See what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it's like, and the rest of the Ukraine, when Crimea is like, no, we want to be part of Russia. The rest of Ukraine is like, nah, we're not doing that fucking shit. We're OKC. We're going to get a championship as OKC. That's what Ukraine is doing. I respect that. Every single year, LeBron is the MVP. Every year that he plays in sports, he's the MVP of all sports. Not even just the NBA.
Soccer, baseball.
Don't matter. Football, LeBron is the MVP. Undeniable. He's the most underpaid athlete in history every single year.
Underpaid.
If he could make what he's worth, he would make $1 billion a year. And that might be underpaid. That's why LeBron just says, pay these motherfuckers. That's why he says it publicly, because he knows how underpaid he is as an athlete. So he don't care if the team goes into the luxury tax, because he's like, motherfucker, this franchise, now that I'm here, is valued at $5 billion. When I wasn't here, it was valued at $2 billion. That's how much you bought it, or maybe $1 billion. I just quintupled the value of your franchise, and you're gonna pay me $30 million a year? Suck my dick.
You saw what happened when LeBron left Cleveland, it became the worst team in the league.
Literally.
Yeah. I remember we put up an article. It was essentially a fake letter from the NBA commissioner saying that he's going to retroactively give LeBron MVP for every year he was with the Cavs based on the reality that's setting in with the Cavs without him.
LeBron's the greatest teammate in history. There's never been a greater teammate in history than LeBron James. Nobody has lifted the level of play of their teammates as much as LeBron.
Michael Jordan?
Nope.
Michael Jordan?
Jordan's the best player ever.
Okay.
LeBron's the best teammate ever.
Meaning?
Jordan had more. Jordan
more.
had more, comparatively, more talent around him compared to the other teams that he was playing than LeBron is. And also LeBron just has this ability to lift the level of play of his teammates. It's unprecedented what he's able to be. I mean, you look at Cleveland. Look what he took to the finals in Cleveland.
So you think, okay, so hold on.
He took a bunch of guys who should be working at Home Depot to the fucking finals. If you look at that lineup, you'd be trying to find how much red oak do I need? That's what Zydrunas Ilgauskas would help you out with. He'd be like, oh, here you go down to aisle 7, and they're going to do the red oak for you. There's nobody on that team that deserves to be in an NBA Finals.
Kyrie Irving.
He wasn't on that team. I'm talking about the old Cleveland team.
Oh, the old Cleveland
Yeah, when he
team.
went to the finals first time.
Oh, because Kyrie wasn't on the team the first time?
Exactly, no. He's a new
Oh, you mean the very first? Oh, okay. I thought
You thought I meant this time around.
Yeah,
No.
Okay, you meant when they lost 4-0.
Exactly. and if you even want to look at it with Kyrie, when LeBron exits the game in the finals, like there's a couple times he usually takes a break with about a minute and a half, 2 minutes left to go in the first quarter. That's his first break. And it's Kyrie's job to run the offense. In game 4 or game 3, in game 3 I think it was, in that minute and a half at the end of the first quarter, Golden State Warriors go on a 10-0 run in a minute without LeBron. The Cavs can't get a single offensive possession, can't get a single look at the basket. Even Kyrie isn't getting the looks that he normally gets. LeBron literally needs to be out there on the floor for them to perform at an elite level.
Right.
They can't even sustain a lead without LeBron.
Okay. Overall, though, when you compare LeBron to Jordan,
Yeah.
look at Jordan's record in the finals.
That's the stupidest argument.
Why?
Because you're punishing LeBron for getting to the finals, and you're not punishing Jordan when he didn't get to the finals. I hate that argument. Everybody goes, oh, Jordan's 6-6 in the finals. Okay, what about the other 10 years he was in the league when he didn't get there? He's not 6-6 in the finals. Jordan is 6-10 in the finals. He just wasn't good enough the other 10 years to get there. LeBron was actually good enough to get there, and because he didn't win, you're punishing him.
Wait, but LeBron's been to the finals
8 times.
8 times.
Yes.
Jordan's been to the finals 6 times.
So
That's only a 2-year difference.
My point is the other years that Jordan didn't get there, like when LeBron loses in the finals, that's no different than when Jordan loses in the Eastern Conference
Doesn't
finals.
get there.
Exactly. So I'm not going to punish LeBron for doing better than Jordan. That makes no sense.
So you're saying LeBron is better than Jordan?
No.
You're not.
Jordan is better because I've done the breakdowns of it. Okay. Jordan's a better offensive player, greatest offensive player in history, and I think they are equal defensively. So you tip the hat to Jordan in Jordan's favor. Also, Jordan has something LeBron doesn't have. He has a killer instinct that Kobe had.
Yeah.
He has a killer instinct that Iverson had.
Yeah.
A almost sociopathic, psychopathic killer instinct.
Right, because when you watch Jordan in the finals, when it gets to crunch time, he does not pass the ball to nobody.
Exactly.
You give Jordan the ball, and he will score every fucking time against any defense. He will mush through everybody and get that shit in the basket.
Yep.
He does not pass.
Jordan gets it done.
He does not. Yeah. He is not a team player at that point. Jordan is going to win the game for you.
There's no I in team. There's an I in win. Jordan said that.
LeBron does not do that.
Well, LeBron does it in the way that he knows how, which is getting other players involved.
Yeah.
But sometimes in the playoffs you just need to. And LeBron is capable of doing that. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't have the killer instinct. Remember when they lost in this playoffs, they lost game 4 to the Celtics. They're about to sweep the Celtics. The game before that, they beat them by like 40 or something like that, right? And then game 4, they all come out flat. That would never happen with Jordan, right? LeBron is a function of the culture he grew up in. He's a millennial. Millennials want to be liked. okay? They want to be liked. They want people to appreciate them. Jordan did not give a fuck if you liked him or not.
Right.
He was willing to punch teammates in the face. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
this is the type of guy he is. So, like, and Kobe is the same. Kobe would never go to practice, show up at practice, say everybody's soft as baby shit, y'all a bunch of pussies, get your fucking shit together, and just leave practice.
Really?
Yeah, there's videos of it. So the point...
And they give Iverson shit about not going to one practice.
Of course. And now no players practice. The irony of that.
Yeah.
But, like, the point is LeBron doesn't have that killer instinct. I don't think LeBron has ever put up, like... I don't think he's ever put up 50 in a finals game. Or like 40 or something like that. Even that high a number, something like 40-something. I think he just put that up for the first time. Like, Jordan did that every single playoffs. He was putting up 40-point games. Mm-hmm. And he would never, out of guilt, let a team get a victory because you beat them so badly the day before. Like, LeBron came into that game like, okay, let's just take it easy on him. That doesn't happen in Jordan's brain. Jordan's trying to beat you in ping pong. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's stories of this motherfucker making you stay up for 2 hours so he could beat you in ping pong. Like, Jordan's so competitive, he thinks he could beat you at blackjack. That's not even a skill. That's pure luck. And the longer you play, you're gonna lose. But Jordan's like, nah, I'm gonna beat the... You know what I mean? That's sociopath shit.
Right. What do you think is going on between LeBron and Rihanna?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing?
I don't think anything's happened between LeBron and Rihanna. And the reason I think nothing's happening between LeBron and Rihanna is because she is so openly affectionate towards him. When you're fucking a married man, you don't sit front row. Yeah, the king is the king.
Really?
Dab and shit. No, that's a married man.
Okay. I got 2 words for you.
Go.
Marilyn Monroe.
What about her?
Happy birthday, Mr.
And they killed that bitch. And they're like, what the fuck you singing happy birthday in front of my wife like this for? You're out there.
Here.
Exactly. She had a drug addiction. No, she didn't. CIA got in there like, bitch, stop trying to tear apart marriages, okay? They're not playing these games, bro. Come on now. Rihanna's not that dumb, man. I just think that Rihanna loves, Rihanna is a very primal person in that way. She wants the best man on the planet. And in her eyes, LeBron is the best man on the planet. That is the alpha male. He is the ultimate alpha.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's a step up from Chris Brown and Drake.
Shit. Put both of them on each other's shoulders, then I'm fucking with LeBron. You know what I mean? Like, let's keep it real. Yeah. I've seen Drake try to shoot threes. I've seen him try to shoot layups on the fucking Kentucky. That shit is embarrassing.
Okay. So you think that it's just for show?
Absolutely. Now, that being said, I think that's why they lost those games in Golden State.
Because she was on the floor?
He's coming out there like, this bitch out here dabbing. You know what I mean? I got to hear my wife when I get back to Cleveland. Like, are you out of your mind, Rihanna? He's distracted. The second he gets back to Cleveland, talks to his wife, all of a sudden they start playing well again. Rihanna really lost Cleveland that championship.
Really? It's Rihanna's fault.
It's Rihanna's fault. They had what's this? LeBron stressed out. Okay? He's worried about his wife that he loves. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I don't think LeBron's getting his fair share. LeBron knows how to... LeBron is like the first one of these athletes that knows how to motivate millennial athletes. Like, the way you and I were raised... We were raised tough love. We were raised like you could yell at your teammates and tell them, stop fucking up. Get on him, play D. Now, all these guys in the NBA have been coddled since they're 12 years old. They've been part of the AAU system, told that they're superstars, told they're the best thing on earth. They've got Instagram followers and Twitter followers saying they're great all the time, right? So now, if you yell at them, they don't know what that is. They freak out. They go, why is he... I haven't heard criticism before. What's happening? So LeBron realizes that, so he doesn't yell at them. You know what he does? Everybody gets a handshake. Everybody gets their own personal, come on, team, let's go. He builds them up.
Medals for everybody.
Medals for, real talk. He understands that. Jordan and Kobe, you saw Kobe trying to motivate the Lakers. It didn't work. They were all scared. They were scared of him. The second he gets off the team, they actually start playing better.
Really?
Yeah, when he was injured, they were having fun out there, winning a couple games. How we motivate people is different now than it used to be.
Okay, I feel you on that.
So we are creating pussies, man. I'm very concerned about this.
Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
Confirmed.
August 26th.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
I want everyone to note what I'm saying right now.
Yeah.
My prediction is Conor McGregor is going to start losing and kick Floyd Mayweather in the face.
I've said that same thing.
That's what I think is going to happen.
I've said that same thing.
I don't think he's planning on doing it.
Son.
I think, or he's going to like tackle him or something.
Here's the thing.
And choke him out.
Let's keep it very real. Right? Let's keep it very real. If you're Floyd and you don't put that shit in the contract that he gets no money if he kicks,
I think it is in the contract.
it better be. Because if that's not in the contract and I'm Conor McGregor, that's the first thing I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna punch. I'm gonna go out there, kick you in the face, knock you out, and do what 49 men have not been able to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, when we watch these fight videos, do we really care like how fairly they fought? No, we watched the KO.
No, remember how Mayweather knocked out that dude when he was talking to the referee?
Ortiz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Protect yourself at all times.
Fam, they use that clip in like promotional footage. Never do they show the part where Ortiz is being held. All they do is show that little hook and Ortiz is dropping. Right? So in reality matter, if McGregor was going to get paid no matter what, I think that would have been the best thing. And he could easily say, listen, I don't give a fuck. I fight with my feet. He wanted to fight me. I knocked him out. You could disqualify me, but at the end of the day, he was knocked out like a hoe.
Right.
That's what you could say. That being said, if they fight with regular rules, I don't think Conor McGregor will land a punch.
Right, because Mayweather is just much better than him.
Mayweather will make him quit. It's going to be, put it this way, it's going to be embarrassing for Conor McGregor. If he doesn't kick him, it is going to be embarrassing on the biggest stage. Never will he experience a demoralizing loss.
Is McGregor undefeated?
No, he's lost a couple times.
Yeah.
But he lost tough fights, and he lost, like even when he lost to, what's his name, Diaz.
Okay.
Like it was a tough fight. Like Diaz was bleeding. He had dropped Diaz a few times. It wasn't demoralizing, the loss. He will be embarrassed in a way where the value of him as a professional fighter will go down. Like he will be looked at as what will happen after this fight is motherfuckers will look at Conor like, yo, I could fuck Conor up, yo. Like, like this is what Mayweather is gonna do to Conor McGregor, where you and I in this room are gonna be like, not for nothing, if I box Conor McGregor, I think I'll fuck him up too.
So like when Suge Knight got knocked out for the first time.
I never saw that.
Oh yeah, no, like a barber ended up knocking out Suge Knight.
Really?
Back in the day, yeah. And then it became open season on Suge Knight.
So people were trying Suge?
Oh yeah, my man Ja, Akon's old manager, knocked out Suge Knight. And then, oh yeah.
Nah.
Oh yeah, no, Suge Knight's been knocked out a few times.
See, that's the thing but like Suge is like certifiably wild. Like that dude is a wild guy,
Like McGregor is a wild guy.
Yeah, but McGregor's not gonna hang you out from a window.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do. He's not. Like Suge will do some wild shit. Like Conor's wild in the ring and wild in the press. But at the end of the day, he's not gonna show up to your hotel room and hang you out the window unless you admit that you stole Ice Ice Baby.
Okay, fair enough. And originally the whole McGregor-Mayweather thing was just trolling. Like McGregor was just trolling him, and it somehow turned into a real fight.
Nah, they know what time it is, and Mayweather know what time it is. They just, Mayweather wants to get his money right. Mayweather's a smart motherfucker, man.
Because Mayweather is retired.
Mayweather is collecting a check for free. This shit is free. Literally, he might as well just walk to the bank and just take the money out the bank. Because, oh God, I'm a boxing enthusiast. I've been following boxing since I'm a kid. My father used to follow, when he used to work for NBC and other news outlets, he would cover boxing. He's been to Ali's camp tons of times. Like my dad has got video footage of him shadow boxing with Muhammad Ali. Okay. Like I've been in this since the jump. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a culture vulture of boxing. I'm about this life.
Okay.
That being said, Mayweather, in my opinion, is the best boxer ever. Ever in history.
Better than Ali?
I know it's going to sound wild. Not even close. Not even close. And
Ali lost.
Ali lost. With all due respect to Ali. Now, with all due respect to Ali, Ali was fighting in a division where there was a much greater fluctuation of weight. So Ali, I think when he was fighting in his prime, would come in around 210, 212 or something like that.
You also got to think in the heavyweight division, you're doing a lot more damage.
Right, but my point is like, he would fight a guy 250. He's 212. Mayweather fights, most of his career, he was fighting between 135 and 154. Not even 154, let's for 147. Even when he fought the, light middleweights or whatever like that, or super welterweights, junior middleweights, he would come in around 150. He wouldn't even come up to 154 to fight them. So he's fighting between 135 and like 147, let's say. He's not fighting a guy who weighs 25% more than him. You know what I'm saying? So it is a little different comparison, what Ali did compared to what Floyd did. That being said, Floyd's dominance, and you might not find him to be an interesting boxer, as someone who values like the sweet science of boxing. I really love it, seeing him just break down a fighter. But I just don't, it hasn't even been close. This guy's just unbelievable.
Right. His fights are not the most interesting.
To someone who doesn't get it.
Who doesn't get it. But then
it's like
again,
going to a museum and looking at art. Like if you don't appreciate art, you're not gonna like it.
But then again, it seems like most fighters that aren't heavyweights to the outsider is not that interesting because you don't see a lot of knockouts. You don't see a lot of knockdowns and stuff like that.
That's why UFC is interesting, is because anybody can enjoy it. It's easily digestible. It's candy.
Is it? I don't know. Like seeing two guys on the ground for like 3-4 minutes at a time.
There's a higher ratio of knockouts in UFC than there is in boxing.
Oh, there is?
Yeah, much higher. So, and it's because
knockouts or chokeouts?
Knockouts. Huh. And it's because the
gloves.
The gloves are 3 ounces. Yeah. Boxing using 8 ounces, sometimes 10 ounces. Like when I used to box and I used to spar, we spar with 16-ounce gloves.
Yeah, me too.
So it's like dropping somebody with 16s and they got headgear is possible. Yeah. But you gotta crack them.
Yeah. Or you gotta uppercut them real hard. I remember getting a few uppercuts that really would fuck me up for a few days.
Oh yeah. You know what I mean?
That's like your neck. It's not like
exactly.
The actual,
yeah. But it's not like night. You know what I mean? Like fucking 3 ounce is night.
Yeah.
3 ounces is just to protect your knuckles.
Yeah, it's essentially bare knuckle. Yeah. No, I feel you. So you have your money on Mayweather.
Yeah, I mean, it's just...
I mean, the odds aren't even going to be close, I don't think.
It's not even worth betting on the fight. But, dude...
I mean, it's almost like he's like fighting a kangaroo or something, is what you're saying.
Kangaroo got a better chance, real talk. Kangaroo got a better chance. It's going to be... Here's the thing. The only time Mayweather's never technically been dropped in his career, but he has.
By who?
Judah. Judah made his glove touch the canvas.
Zab Judah?
Zab Judah when they fought. And that's considered a knockdown if your glove touches the canvas off of a punch. But the ref didn't see it, so he didn't call it. But Judah caught him with Judah's southpaw, like McGregor. And Judah caught him with a right hook, right? Mayweather got caught by the right hook, fell back, blah, blah, and then went on to dominate Zab Judah. He also got caught by Chop Corley. I think it's DeMarcus Chop Corley. I don't know if it's DeMarcus, but Corley caught him, and he wobbled. His knees got wobbly, and he almost went down, but didn't. So one might say, ooh, southpaws have a chance against Mayweather. The problem is McGregor doesn't have a right hook. McGregor's great punch is a straight right, a counter straight right, and it's a beautiful shot, especially in UFC. He times it beautifully, a lot of power on it. Not against Mayweather. You know what I'm saying? It's not happening.
All right. Well, we're going to see in August. What's the payday for Mayweather?
I mean, he'll probably get a couple $100 million.
Yeah.
McGregor's going to get the biggest payday in his career. In UFC, they rape those dudes.
Yeah.
They don't pay them nothing in UFC, man. That shit is...
Right. Well,
oof.
We're about to see in August. I didn't think I'd still be talking about this, but I'm going to have to.
What is it? We'll see if I want to talk about it.
Nicki Minaj and Remy Ma.
I don't care.
It's still dragging out.
I don't... Yeah, I think the only reason I just don't care. It's just like... Beef to me in rap is the same as like a hot chick taking off her clothes for attention. It's just the easiest way to get attention.
Right.
But if you really have beef in general, not just in rap, but if you really have like valuable skill and you could really make great music, you don't even need the beef.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And the reality is Remy can rap her ass off and Nicki can rap her ass off, and they both proven it and they both made great records. And to me, it's just like, again, I'm not a rap enthusiast. I'm not even really a music enthusiast. So I don't really care. I just like hearing good music, man. That's really what it comes down to.
Well, but there's been great beef records.
Sure, but to me, they're not worth it. Like when I'm thinking about dancing or some shit, like yeah, I loved Ether, you know what I mean? Of course, but like
Hit 'em up.
Hit 'em Up was great.
The bridge is over.
Yeah. When I'm at the club, I'm not like, yo, bump that Ether.
Back to back.
I'm not even thinking back to back when I'm at the club. Like when you're trying to get a girl to dance, put her ass on you, or you're like, yo, put on The Bridge is Over. You know what I'm saying? Shit, bump that shit right there.
That's
you know,
an old song. That's not a fair comparison.
All I'm saying is like, I put on some Future, talk about Molly Percocet, motherfucker. I don't care. Like, just put on some shit that bumps. At the end of the day, it's music, man. It's that's just what I feel. And it's a real shame because you know this more than anybody. People fucking die over this shit. Mm-hmm. It ain't worth it to me, man. Like, there's this young rapper coming up, XXX Tentacion.
Yeah.
And I guess he's engaged in a beef and he got knocked out on stage or whatever
he's
like
beefing
that.
with Rob Stone.
Yeah. And it's like, dude, I've been watching some videos of this guy and just like listening to music. This guy's a fucking superstar.
Really?
This guy is, I don't say a lot of people have it. Have you ever heard people describe it, like people in entertainment? A lot of times you talk about with actors. Some people say, yo, they just got it. You just want to be around that person. People describe Will Smith with that. Some people used to describe Tom Cruise with it. It's just it.
Yeah.
You're around them, you're like, I get it.
The it factor.
They got the it factor. I've never been around this dude. I've just been watching videos. The dude he will go as far as he wants in this business. I'm being dead serious. I don't say that, you know me, I don't brag about people, I don't like put people up. This dude is so talented, not only musically, personality-wise, magnetic. And I see him involved in these beefs, and I'm like, man, I sincerely hope that he could get through this stage and not do that anymore, because it would just be sad to see him, God forbid something like serious happen to him or get locked up because of a beef, and then him not be able to reach the potential that this motherfucker has. This dude could go as far as he wants. He could be the biggest thing in music.
Well, I mean, he just got out of jail.
Yeah, I don't know that much about his like record or criminal history.
He just got out of jail.
Yeah.
And he really has one hit song. Look at me.
Yeah.
Look at me. Fuck on me. Like,
Yeah.
Dope song, dope beat.
Great.
Like, he was accusing Drake of, using his flow and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
kind of got a little with that. I haven't heard enough music from him to say this guy's a musical superstar.
Yeah. That's
Right?
fair. Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. That was
I'm
a dope
basing
song.
that more on his personality, and just the few tracks that I've heard. Look at me. There's a couple. I was just in some YouTube wormhole. We just had Adam from No Jumper on Brilliant Idiots,
right?
And Adam was talking about all these young guys that he really believes in. Another guy, Lil Pump, I think his name was. Mm-hmm. And I just got lost in the youth movement in music, and I was like, wow, there's a different sound coming out, man. There's a different and it is dope. These kids are making dope music, man.
Right, which is a lot of people call mumble rap.
Look, here's the thing about that kid. The kid X, I don't even know what he's
called X.
All right, so X, right? To me, X is DMX. So you know what I mean? So it's like I don't know how to, what he refers to, but let's go. X is like, I was watching some interview and he was like, initially I rapped like, in an old school way, like how Biggie and these guys rapped, and he was like, you have to learn that first in order to do what we do now, whatever you call it, a mumble rap or the new type of rap. He goes, and it's similar to like a painter. A Picasso is classically trained in painting. This motherfucker, it's not like when he paints, he sees one eye here and what I hear. He could draw you just like you look. It's a decision to make the eye here and the eyebrow up there and the ear over here. He's able to do that because of the skill he has. When I saw this kid starting to develop, I'm like, all right, this kid knows what the fuck he's doing. And I'm sitting there going, man, I really hope he could leave that shit aside, because I can see people being drawn to him. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it, I'm watching the videos, like, I'm drawn to this guy. This guy has something special. And I really hope that it doesn't get, cut short because of some beef. I just really hope that, man.
The thing about beef is that if you allow it to be one-sided, it will eventually just fade away.
Elaborate. What are you saying?
like, for example, if I think of the various beefs that I've had myself over the years,
Yeah.
the ones that I have not engaged in
Yeah.
have essentially just fluttered away. And, I mean, because you could yell in an empty room for just so long until your voice just starts getting tired. You know what I mean? Like, there's various people who I've seen talk shit about me, and they go on their Instagram and put a post about me and talk all this shit, and they get their 200 likes and their 30 comments from, people who agree with them. And it's like, when I don't comment about it, when I don't,
it goes away.
Yeah, and I don't talk about it in interviews or whatever else, it eventually just goes away because they realize that they're not getting what they want out of this beef.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I think that you're approaching it. I think you're approaching it from a very interesting angle, an intelligent angle as well. I think what happens was when, some of these younger guys grow up in an environment that's very dangerous and violent. Not engaging in a beef is shown as weakness,
right?
And it could put their life in danger. So when we're talking about guys who really were raised in the streets, they know that if some guy's talking shit to them and they don't address that publicly, other people will try to talk shit to them and take what they have. So I think they're applying those same survival tactics to the rap game. And what I hope is once they realize that once they get into the rap game, that they could win through music or like you win through content.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you keep on putting out fire content, people forget about that shit. And so I guess my point is I understand where these kids are coming from and why they engage in it so much because they needed to survive in a different part of their life.
But they're not in that life anymore.
Yeah, I just hope they realize that.
I just interviewed L.T. Hutton.
Who's that?
He produced the Tupac movie.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Right?
All Eyes on Me.
Right? And he, not only produced the movie, he was one of Tupac's go-to producers, and he produced a bunch of music with Pac. That he was in the studio a lot with him and so forth. And I've asked other people this question, but he really gave me the best answer. And the question I asked is, with bodyguards, a huge entourage, gangsters around him, Pac took it upon himself to run at this guy and attack him. Himself, with his guys behind him, but Pac took the first swing and Pac took it upon himself. Someone who is a known gangster, he was being investigated for multiple murders. Like this is a serious guy. Orlando. Orlando. In your personal point of view, knowing Pac, why do you think he did that as opposed to, well, I'll just let these other guys handle it or we'll just let this go?
I break it down in the film in the sense of who Tupac thought he had to be. That's one of those had to be to survive the world.
Who Tupac had to be. That's such
to survive the world. Like I said, in the Trinity, everything you asking me falls in one of the categories of who Tupac was, who he wanted to be, and who he had to be to survive the worlds that he was introduced into. So with that being said, Tupac took battles, a lot of battles, that weren't his own.
And that's the thing, like, you see these situations with these kids who make these decisions, these impulsive decisions that have absolutely huge ramifications. Like, when I go out now...
Did Tupac have kids?
No, no kids.
He didn't nut in one girl?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't nut in anybody, but he was big on condoms. I heard that for a fact.
So this is a responsible dude. Like, how are you so responsible with your dick when you're drunk off Hennessy and shit? You know what I mean?
He did say some things about how
he paid for some scoops.
No, like he did say how. I mean, he had a line, scared to drop a seed, hoping I ain't curse my babies. I think he was concerned about putting children in the world.
I'm just saying, this dude.
He was doing a lot of fucking.
I know he was doing a lot of fucking.
He was fucking Madonna, I heard.
Who wasn't?
A lot of people weren't.
Who?
Come on, Madonna was some prime pussy back in the day.
Madonna got some miles on it. Ice Baby, Vanilla Ice fucked Madonna. You can't claim that as a victory.
He was a superstar at the time. His album went diamond.
Yeah, you're right. She did fuck like pre-tattoo Ice Baby.
Yeah.
Or Vanilla Ice. I don't know why I keep calling him Ice Baby.
Right.
Fuck.
But that's the whole thing is.
That shit was hot, that song. You know when that song comes on, you rap to that. We could hate on Vanilla Ice all you want, but when that shit comes, stop, collaborate, and listen. Ike's back with a brand new adventure, something. Guys are holding me tightly. That shit.
I do not know that.
You want to hit this? A Running Man
I
on
just
it?
remember.
Hey.
I just remember rolling in my 5.0 with my rag top down so my hair could blow, but his hair has so much mousse in it.
That shit was not blowing,
not
bro.
blowing nowhere.
He looked like Dolph Lundgren. He looked like he was about to beat up Rocky, man.
But yeah, man, like I see myself, like these days, I see myself making decisions of, you know something, I'm not going to go to this particular place, or I'm not going to move in this particular direction because there's a possibility of violence. And it's not because I'm scared, because I have security, I have that type of thing, but I am scared of ultimately what may happen on everybody's part. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
dude,
if one of my security ends up killing somebody, ultimately I have a level of responsibility in that whole situation, whether it's the trial or whether it's the lawyer fees or whether, the fallout on a business level or whatever else. It's like, it's one thing to be prepared and to run into any situation. It's like, well, I'm prepared. It's like another thing to say, I'm just going to sit this one out. I'll just go around and I'll just schedule a time when certain people aren't going to be there and so forth, because I'm scared for the other persons. A lot of times. Because
I feel like we got to stop thinking of fear as a bad thing. Fear is what keeps us alive. Fear is a survival instinct. You have a fear that one of your security could die. That's not bad. When you look over the side of a building and you feel like scared, that's keeping you alive. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You got to be careful with that, because fear will keep you from making decisions that will ultimately benefit you. You know what I mean?
No, you're right.
I'm technically not fearful of any other human being. You see what I'm saying?
I am. Fuck that. No, I see crazy people. I'm not. Listen, if a homeless guy wants to fight, first of all, I don't fight nobody poorer than me. That's a rule. I own property. You know what I mean? Life is good for me. I'm not fighting you, going to lose my property. I knock you out. You sue me. Now you got my house. Who won?
I'm not fighting nobody. Let's put it like this way.
I'm 33.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. At one point in my life, I believe in my 30s. And
I sue. Let me be very clear. I sue.
I remember me and my man, I remember my guy in Atlanta, who's sort of, who I fuck with. He told me, he said, I'm planning not to have any more fist fights for the rest of my life. And I said, yeah, me too. There you go.
Yeah.
I am planning on not having any more fist fights for the rest of my life.
I'm totally with it. You know what I think that, this celebrity boxing shit?
Yeah.
I think in essence it's a good idea. I just think you got to take away the audience. You know what I mean? There was one time I got into it with it was a whole situation, but my thing with handling it was because I got such fucking pride and ego, and I was like, listen, I know I want to fight you, and I know you want to fight me. Why don't we just rent out a gym? We go to Church Street Boxing, just rent out a ring. We'll do 3 2-minute rounds or 1-minute rounds. Get that testosterone out. Honestly, because I used to box. After, I could shake your hand, dude. Yeah. If you fuck me up on some man shit, I could be like, yo, that's cool, man. Right. Hey, you got me. Or if I fuck you up after that, honestly, I'm going to feel bad a little bit. I'm going to feel empathetic. Huh. I mean, dude, it's weird that balance. All I'm saying is, but to do some shit in the street where I fall, I fucking chip my tooth, now I can't shoot this show that I just booked. Are you out of your mind?
Right.
I'm gonna put away my acting career because you said something about my sneakers and I didn't like it. You're crazy.
Yep.
Come on, I got priorities, man. I'm at the stage of my career where I'm not trying to be cool, I'm trying to be great. I give a fuck about cool.
Yeah.
Cool can suck my dick. Cool is for my 20s. Right. You know what I mean? I'm trying to be great.
I agree. I'm right there with you.
That's all I care about.
I'm right there with you. And I got more to lose than the average person.
Yes. You could lose more winning.
Yeah.
That's the thing people realize about fighting when you're an adult. Fighting when you're a kid, I'm not against it, man, because I think we need to be men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I had my fair share of altercations growing up, and we need to find out what it is to be a man. You need to find out what it is to be brave, face your fears. I'm not against that.
No.
I really am not. And when you're younger, it's a more controlled environment in a lot of ways. And you need to learn how to be a brave person. I think we need to be brave. We need to face our fears. Sometimes you need to lose a fight. You need to fucking lose a fight to understand what that's like, to understand how you go through that.
Yeah.
That being said, when you get old, winning a fight, you lose more sometimes. You knock a motherfucker out and paralyze him, you go to jail.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying you go to fucking court, you gotta spend thousands of dollars on attorneys and that kind of shit. I'm trying to have kids and send them to college. You know what I mean? I don't got $100,000 to pay a lawyer for some court case so I can get that shit dismissed for some stupid bar fight. I want to have my kid not worry about a college loan.
Right. Well, let's talk about money.
Yeah. Also, I'm too good at shit talk. I can embarrass you too well with my mouth. You know what I mean? Like, let's go.
You had a quote where you said, once you have money, everyone's got the same skin color.
Oh, here we go. You trying to drag me into this shit? You're a piece of shit. You're a piece of fucking garbage. Get your little clickbait nonsense.
You did say that, though.
No, I didn't say that.
You didn't say that?
What is the context?
Wait, you didn't say it?
I don't know. I don't know the context. Maybe I did say it, but I need to know the context. Maybe there's context to it.
Let's pull it up because I actually have a link to it.
Once you have money, everybody's got the same skin color. In terms of billionaires is a very different discussion than your salacious selected one line that is going to make me look like some fucking alt-right racist.
Okay.
And that's what's fucked up about you, man. You got to be careful about that. I know that's going to get the most clicks, and I know that's what you're going to fucking label this shit, but that will make people like me not want to come back here.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if
Well,
you're
no,
going to...
We're setting up the context right now.
I had to. You didn't want no context set up.
Well, no. I mean, I'm asking
You
the
want
question.
me to go, you want me to make some fucking statement that's gonna make me look foolish as fuck so you get your clicks.
No.
I understand that's the business model.
No, it's not the business model.
To me, I care
It's
about
not- you are-
intellectual
you are-
honesty.
Every guest that we bring in, we want to present what they say in a fair manner.
I had to do it. You didn't have to do it.
Well, I mean, you had to do it when I asked the question.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
But you didn't.
You answering the question.
You didn't pose the question like this. You said that Oprah is different.
I didn't say that.
I know I'm saying. What you should have said, if you really want to add it contextually, you could say Oprah can walk in a room with any 1% white 1%er and not feel out of place. If you said that, I'd be like, absolutely.
Right.
A matter of fact, those rich white 1%ers, they might feel out of place around Oprah because Oprah yields way more power and influence than those guys. They might have the monetary backup, but they don't have the people and influence over the people that Oprah has. So what I was trying to articulate is when you get to a certain amount of wealth,
Yeah.
the racial prejudices that people experience in life dissipate. What I'm not saying is once you make $100,000, people aren't going to be racist towards black people or Asians or Indians, whatever. That's not the case. That's going to happen. And people have still been racist towards Oprah. She's been into department stores where they've treated her poorly.
Well, they didn't know who she was.
They didn't know who she was. Absolutely. So, but it's undeniable that with a certain amount of clout, a certain amount of success, for example, Barack Obama, outside of party lines, just Barack Obama as the person can go wherever he wants without the racial prejudice that you might experience. I don't know your name. What's your name? Rick. That Rick might experience. You know what I'm saying? Because people know Barack Obama and they know who he is. He is Barack Obama, not random black guy, right? And random white guy in a lot of these situations gets benefit of the doubt. Random black guy doesn't. Now, when you become so wealthy or so successful that you stop being your skin color, you start being your name.
Right.
Nobody goes black Will Smith, they go Will Smith. Nobody goes black Mike Tyson, they go Mike Tyson. You know what I'm saying?
People don't say black anybody.
Say again?
You don't say black anybody who's got a name. Or white anybody.
If you watch the news or look at a news article, tons of times you'll say cops kill black man, Terrence, whatever, in cold blood. But they put black man first.
Right.
Right? Now, if
Because
cops...
they're referring, there's a racial element of the shooting.
Now, if cops killed, God forbid, Colin Powell, they wouldn't say black guy Colin Powell. They would just say Colin Powell because Colin Powell is more famous than his race is. So you can't transcend your race. You don't have to in America transcend your race as a white guy or a white girl because it's the majority of the country is white, right? There's just 70% of the people is white. So a lot of times, so far, I mean, this is going to change.
I thought it was more like 50% now.
My understanding it was 70.
It's 77.3%, which is
high.
What you're saying, but this includes Hispanics who identify as white.
Yeah, but
now if you say non-Hispanic whites total 62%.
But why aren't Hispanics that are white?
I don't know. That part there is a little weird.
So what we have to understand about when
I look at a Hispanic person, I think they're Latino.
Sure, but you might not be as familiar with white Hispanics as some people do. So there's a lot of
people from Spain.
Well, no, those people aren't. Those. I wonder if they're Hispanic or.
Well, look at the name Hispanic. It's got the word Spain in it.
Yeah, Hispaniola. But like for example, the term Latino does not refer to people from Spain. It refers to people from Latin America, right? Latino. If you're Latino.
So a person from Spain is not Latino.
In my understanding of it, no. The term Chicano, for example, refers to people from, I think, Mexico and Central America.
Okay.
Right? So there are these terms that are broken up, right? But a person whose family is from maybe Barcelona, Spain, and then they moved to the Dominican Republic, years ago, 100 fucking years ago, but they might have, had children with other people from Spain or other people, they might consider themselves white. I know a lot of Argentine people who have Italian descent. They consider themselves absolutely white, and they are white because if you look at their skin color, they're white, right? So we're not anybody to sit and say, hey, you're not white enough. Just like I can't look at a light-skinned black dude and go, you're not black enough to be called black. So we can't look at a white Spanish person and go, you don't speak English enough to be a white person.
I mean,
language, I guess my point is language doesn't dictate race, right? If I grew up in China, I'm not Chinese, but I speak Chinese. I'm not Chinese looking, but I speak Chinese.
Right. I mean, I think that there is like a sort of like a basic sense of racism in this country where if a person is mixed, black and white, has one white parent, has one black parent, they're considered black, as opposed to mixed or white. You know what I'm saying? They're almost always considered black unless they look like Logic, who kind of passes for white. You see what I'm saying?
So in that case, he's white.
I think most people, if they didn't know this was Logic the rapper and they just looked at him at a glance, they would say this is a white guy.
But let me ask you this question. Is that racism or we know...
I think it's racism.
Well, let me ask a question, right?
Yeah.
Is that racism or there are more spectrums of blackness? The color spectrum of blackness is greater than it is the color spectrum of whiteness. Like the shades of white.
I don't know.
Let me make the point. The shades of white are pretty similar, right? Like we see white guy who's pale like you and me. Yeah. We see white guy that's a little bit tan, that kind of might be like Sicilian looking.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey
is super white. That's a white boy like me. That guy looks like me.
He's pretty orange, isn't he?
Bronze, fine. You got the Trump whites. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you got like ginger dudes, like dudes who are redheaded. You know what I mean? But like realistically, the shade difference between those white people is very minimal. You have Terrence Howard black dudes or the beautiful and intelligent Angela Rye black people, right, who are very fair-skinned blacks, right? But you also have Wesley Snipes. So that color spectrum is much larger than the color spectrum for white. So I don't know if it's a point of I want to hold these people down and I'm racist towards them as much as it is a familiarity with the spectrum.
Let me put it like this, okay? You don't really realize the fuck shit that America's on until you leave America, okay? That's the thing.
Depends where you go. Go to India and tell me there's not fuck shit.
No.
Go to South America and tell me there's not fuck shit.
I'm not saying there's not fuck shit outside of America.
Yeah.
But you don't realize the fuck shit of America. You think this is just naturally how humans work unless you start to leave America.
Well, give me an example for that. I don't know if I believe you.
I'll give you a few examples.
Yeah.
I'll give you a few examples.
Thank you.
For example.
Give me a few.
I remember me and a friend of mine were in Brazil.
Yes.
And he is mixed. He's half Russian, half black.
Sure.
Right? And we were talking to some Brazilians, right? Some Brazilian girls and so forth. And he was saying, I'm black. And they're like, no, you're not. You're Moreno. He's like, what's that? Oh, Moreno. It means, mixed. Like, it's a, they go over there. You see that dark skinned guy? That's a black guy. No, you're Moreno. You're not black. In Brazil, mixed people of, like a brown skinned people have their own classification. They don't just shove them into like the black category. But, because there was a famous Supreme Court case where like one guy was like, he was, when they had segregated like trains or something like that, where he was like, on a train, they're like, hey, you gotta get off. This is the white section. He goes, well, I'm only 1/16. I'm 15. Like 7/8
Yes,
white.
if you're 1/16 black, then you're black. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, 1/16. And the guy's like, well, you're not white enough.
If you have a drop of black blood or something like that.
Yeah,
it makes
that's
you
what I'm
black,
saying.
Yeah, there's definitely a history.
That's
of
what
that,
I'm saying, and that's just racism. Because
Correct.
if you are 1/16 black and 15th, 16th white, you are white. You know what I'm saying? On any scientific level, you are white.
What if you?
But in America, if you're just a little bit black, well, you're just black. You're not one of us. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's some fuck shit. And I really don't subscribe to that. And that's a very American thing. And I'm going to give you one more example.
Sure.
The first time I went to Africa, I went to Senegal.
Yeah.
I started,
Do you think that still exists before that? Do you think that's still
100%?
Hold on. So you think somebody who is 1/16 black in America now is viewed as black?
Yes. I think.
So why is Logic viewed as white?
No, I think Logic identifies.
Logic is 50%, and he's viewed as white.
Well, you don't know if it's 50% because you don't know what his black parent is making.
Sure, 25.
Whatever. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that when you look at him, he kind of looks like a white guy.
Exactly my point.
Right.
So people will judge you based on what you look like on a spectrum.
But it depends on, like, for example, like if they notice that your hair is kind of kinky and stuff like that, it's like, oh, okay, well, they're really black, they're really mixed. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's
so you're looking for features. You're talking about features that could indicate another race.
Another race, and
Correct.
if it's just a little bit of that, then it's considered you're all the way that you're in the black category.
Well, there are Jewish guys that have kinky hair and they have afros, and nobody's going, I think they got some black in them.
They have Jufros.
Exactly, right? So nobody's saying that about them.
Right.
I'm just saying your argument, and also your argument with Brazil, I think that you should speak to more people who frequent Brazil, because like I have a friend of mine who's black, he goes to Brazil quite often, and he sees an unbelievable amount of systemic racism. Like he's a very wealthy guy, and he goes to these restaurants in Brazil where he is the only black person there. They can't believe that he's even there. Like he even said to me something about like he needs to go with a couple like white Brazilian chicks. So
no, listen, I'm not downplaying the racism of other countries. Yeah. I'm just saying that the racism in America has been brewed to perfection. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm not downplaying the racism here either. I'm just saying
because
it's different.
The history of slavery in this country was so much more brutal than in some of these other places, and went on for so much longer than most of these other places. And there were so many more people involved in so many other places.
That's not accurate at all. The only thing that's accurate is the brutality. So if you actually really want to get into the nuance and history of slavery, America had far less slaves than South America did, Brazil did, and many other parts of the world. I think
specific countries?
Specific countries, yeah, absolutely, far less. Matter of fact, we stopped, the reason why slavery was so quote-unquote successful in America, what America did that these other countries didn't do, which I deem as far more brutal, is they were able to, for lack of a better word, make the slaves have children. So slavery wasn't a sustainable enterprise in a lot of these other countries because what they would do is have slaves come over, they'd work them, they'd die, and they wouldn't have kids. What America was able to do is they would essentially breed.
Yeah, breed them like animals.
Breed them like, it's disgusting, but essentially breed them like, so what they were able to do is increase the slave population without bringing in more slaves. So America stopped bringing in slaves before all these other countries, but that was a function of their ability to increase the population here, while these other countries just couldn't do it, and they couldn't afford to continue bringing more and more in. So if you're really going to get into the triangle slave trade and what's going on and say these things, you should really do the research, man, and know what's going on.
Okay, fair enough. I'll give you that. But let me just tell you this.
The perception, for example, in America is that like every white person had a slave. And if you want to look at actual numbers, like what do you think the numbers are?
Well, slaves had mortgages, which meant that they were massively expensive.
That's
right?
Yeah.
So therefore, very few people could afford to have multiple. Like most people didn't have just one slave. You usually had a bunch of slaves.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying.
So, if you really want to look,
if you're talking about how many. So if you look at just on a mortgage level, how many people in the United States own 10 or 20 properties? Well, maybe 1%.
Well, it's higher than that. I think the numbers say something like 5% or something like that. But here's the thing: you also
and it's also it only really happened in the South. You didn't really see slaves in the North.
This is the crazy thing about the economic viability. Like the North takes this moral high ground on slavery, right? They act like, oh, we were above it and it was wrong. No, the economy didn't support it.
It wasn't economically feasible.
Once it became non-economically viable in the North was like, slavery's wrong. But when it was viable and it made perfect sense, they had slaves in the North. So it wasn't like the people in the North made this switch where they realized how awful it was, how can we treat humans like this? It was, oh, this shit kind of expensive? Yeah, you're right, it's fucked up. We can't do this kind of shit.
Well, then the cotton gin came in, which also...
Eli Whitney, bro, that motherfucker.
Which also you didn't need the raw labor at that point, so it became even less economically feasible.
Well, no, that's the opposite. So if there was no cotton gin, Eli Whitney invented the cotton gin. For people who don't know what the cotton gin was, it was a. If you ever seen a cotton poppy, right? If you ever seen the plant, it's this ball of like fur, and then inside there's seeds. Now you have to get these seeds out. What they used to do before is they used to pick each seed out of it by hand. So what they did is essentially strained it. You would push the cotton through this thing, and the seeds would pop out. It's very similar to like making orange juice. Once that was invented, like. Some people say slavery was going to die throughout America because it was just too expensive, right, to have them pick out the seed. You just couldn't get enough for how expensive it was to house slaves, to maintain I know it sounds crazy to even say this, but healthcare, but like if something happened to your slave, you were responsible to cure him, etc. So once you have this system come out, slavery boomed again.
Oh, okay.
Because it made it that much more economically viable.
Okay.
It was essentially like the automatic checkout in a supermarket. That's what the cotton gin was.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like it kept Publix in business.